Okay, start talking about Avengers then.
Okay, Avengers. I'm hyped about it. I'm hyped, but I'm probably not as hyped as other things because Spider-Man and Batman are coming out that year. So I'm not sure how all three movies, because I'm sure at least two of the movies are going to happen at the same time. I'm not sure how they're going to do with each other because if Avengers comes out first, if it's a good movie like Iron Man, people are going to be all hyped over it. And then if the Batman movie is even better, it's going to be like Iron Man repeated, where you get a great summer movie and then it gets completely overshadowed.
Yeah, my question to ask you is, and I've been thinking about this. Hypothetically, if they continue what they've done from Iron Man 1 to Iron Man 2, hypothetically, we could, because nothing has been confirmed yet, and obviously they have enough time to film it, hypothetically, we could get Iron Man 3 at the same time as Avengers.
We could, and that would be a lot like a comic book because,
yeah,
we
how
have
would
like
you feel about that?
I'd be fine with that. I mean, of course, Robert Downey Jr. would be like sleeping in between takes, but he'd just be like running in between sets, like.
Well, they probably would plan it so he could be in both movies. Like they would be like, okay, because you got to think about it. Avengers has at least 6 main characters.
Yeah.
And Tony Stark's not going to be in every one of those scenes. He's probably going to be in like at least a third or a quarter of the movie. So, I've seen plenty of actors go do a small role and actually have a big role on the side. Actually, a few years back, Leonardo DiCaprio actually started 2 movies at the same time.
Yeah.
One of them was Blood Diamond. I think the other one was I can't think of the other one. It was Departed. Those came out the same year, so I'm guessing they were filmed around the same time. So you can do it, but it has to be planned correctly.
Yeah, and Departed got like an Oscar or something like that.
Oh, both of them got nominated for things because I remember that year that what they were doing was one of the announcers was saying, okay, best support, like they had listed the people who were nominated. Best supporting actress in a drama goes to Leonardo DiCaprio. And I was because they were making a joke how he was nominated for so many. I think he was nominated for like at least he was nominated for Best Actor in both. And I mean, that's big to be nominated in the same category for 2 different films in the same year.
Yeah, that's true. I think the thing is, what would be really cool is if you did Iron Man 3 the same, maybe Iron Man 3 would come out a week after or before Avengers. So in Avengers, you'll be like, where's Stark? And they'll be like, oh yeah, he's fixing the Mandarin problem, or oh yeah, he's fixing whatever the problem is.
That would be cool. Now, would you rather it be first or second Iron Man?
I'd like it to be first just so we can kind of... I'd like it to be first, but it take place at the same time as the Avengers. So we would have a reason not... Because, if Iron Man's going to be there, if Robert Downey Jr. does a good performance as Iron Man, he's probably going to eclipse most of the people in that scene that he's with. So I think it'd be a smart move not to have him in every single scene and maybe have Iron Man 3 happening in the background.
Well, I don't know, like, I'm trying to think of whose movie this is really going to be because you got to think about it. I don't think it's going to be Captain America's movie. I don't think it's going to be Iron Man's movie. I don't think it's going to be Thor's movie. I don't think it's going to be Hulk movie. I think they're going to set up, like, I think one of these characters that hasn't had a movie yet, I think they're going to make it into their movie and kind of have their origin and basically make it about them joining the Avengers and already have these characters already part of the Avengers. That's what I would do because you want to have your star. You want to have your main character, even if he's a side character. You still want to have your main character.
Yeah, I personally think that side character is going to be Hawkeye, mostly because people know who Hawkeye is, but he's a side character, and he has led teams of Avengers before. So
yeah, but do you think he could essentially the character I'm talking about? Do you think he could carry a movie? Do you think he could be a big enough draw to be essentially your character that the movie is following? Basically kind of like how R2-D2 and C-3PO was essentially your main characters in A New Hope. You were following their story, not Luke Skywalker's story, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, true. It's Skywalker's. It's the Star Wars is essentially could be renamed, the Skywalker story because it's about family tree of the Skywalkers. But
Well, essentially, the 6 films together are essentially Anakin Skywalker's rise and fall to the dark side.
Yeah.
But I mean, the first film, Episode 4, was essentially like George Lucas has stated this, that the movie's in the eyes of C-3PO and R2-D2. You're following them. You're not following these other characters. You're following them. If you watch the movie begins with R2-D2 and C-3PO, and it ends with those two, because you're really following their characters, but the other characters happen to be in the same scenes as they are.
Yeah, that's true. I think that what they really need to do here, I want a scene where they actually show, if not it actually happens in the film, but I want a scene in the beginning where they actually show how they got Captain America's body back, because I don't want them just to say, oh yeah, he just showed up, because if the last movie ends with him falling into the water, as we said before, it's going to be a little weird for fans like, wait a second, wasn't he just in World War II? Then why is he suddenly here? I want at least some exposition.
I'm guessing here. I'm guessing, but I think that might be, I think the scene you're talking about might actually be the after credit scene in his own movie.
Yes, that would be an awesome idea. Like, I mean, they, Robert Downey Jr. and, whoever else, because Chris Hemsworth, who's playing Thor, he signed on for a bunch of pictures, so he could just pop into movies and pop out without a problem, I'm sure.
Yeah, and that's one thing I definitely want to talk to you about him later on when we get back to Thor, because the point about him is I kind of find it funny the last movie he was in. Do you know the last movie he was in?
Star Trek.
Yes, and I kind of find it funny. He's going from Star Trek and now he's being Thor.
Yeah, and in Star Trek he had a 5-minute scene where he died.
Yeah. But he was also a very known character. Like, they talked about him throughout the movie. So, if you're going to die in 5 minutes, that's the kind of role you want to be in.
Yes, and you die saving your unborn baby, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, sure. Well, a character that I'm really looking forward to that I don't know if it's confirmed, but I think it's been kind of talked about, is Giant Man in the Wasp. Now, I've never been a huge fan of Giant Man or Hank Pym or whatever. I always thought of him kind of as a whiny baby. He slaps up his wife and he just starts crying about it. I always liked the Wasp more.
Yeah. But, I mean, I think he will be in the film because he has to be in the film, I think. I mean, like, obviously they're not doing the fanboy Avengers movie. Like, I was afraid at first they would try to pull some strings to figure a way how to do the fanboy Avengers movie.
Yeah.
And the fanboy movie, you know what I mean by that, don't you?
Yes. The Avengers, is it, do you mean like, because when you have the idea of a fanboy Avengers movie, a picture in my head automatically pops up of just a guy saying, we need to put every single Avenger that ever existed into this movie.
No. That's not what I mean.
What do you mean?
Captain America, Iron Man, Spider-Man, Wolverine.
Yes.
The fanboy Avengers movie. Put the most notable Marvel characters into a movie to make a quick buck.
Yes. The Spider-Man reboot's going to end with Nick Fury coming in and saying, I need you to join the Avengers Initiative.
Yep. I mean, yes, and I almost thought they were going to try to pull something. Like, it would be hard because they would have to go to 2 different companies and they would have to say, we need the rights to these characters. What is it going to cost us?
Yeah, because they would have to pull out of a contract.
Yeah. But, or not necessarily, but I think the companies, I'm pretty sure, can give them the rights for a movie.
Yeah, but I was also kind of afraid that they might do the whole new Avengers, fanboy Avengers thing, mostly because I don't think Spider-Man and Wolverine, well, Wolverine works well on the team because he's on the X-Men, but I don't think normally Spider-Man should be on the team, and I just think the idea of just pulling something like putting him on a team is bad enough in the comics, but we don't need to transfer them into the movies.
Well, they're trying to make a quick. It's sometimes they try to make a quick buck.
Yeah.
Like my biggest pet peeve was Catwoman because I love the character Catwoman, and that movie is the quick example of how to make a quick buck. I don't think it made any money, but it's,
I mean, you could have easily, with the Catwoman movie, just quickly, you could have easily made, because Catwoman is a strong enough character to hold her own movie. I mean, she held her own comic book series for a fairly long time, so I think she could hold her own movie.
Well, I'm going to stop it right here for a minute.